Devil Pact, Berkeley's Witch Case. Once upon a time, there was a witch. Some say it's just a legend, merely an ancient medieval tale. Others claim she was real, and her extraordinary story actually happened. The story of the Berkeley witch was recorded by the English monk and historian William of Malmesbury, 1095 to 1143, in the 11th century. I am sure that none of my listeners will doubt the story, though perhaps they will even be curious about it. I had heard of these events from a distinguished man who swore to have seen them with his own eyes, and I would be ashamed not to believe him. William of Malmesbury wrote in The Deeds of the Kings of England, De Gestis Regum Anglorum, in the 1100s. This woman lived in Berkeley, a picturesque village in the county of Gloucestershire, England. No one remembers her name. It could have been Eleanor or Rosamond. That isn't matters, but she was and is the witch of Berkeley, a certain woman knowledgeable in auguries, oracles, cards, magic potions, and the exotic art of predicting the future by observing the flight of birds, the ornithomancy. The woman who, to achieve wealth and power, made a pact with the devil himself, Satan. Once allied with the left-handed one, her hunger for power went beyond money. She indulged in all kinds of worldly pleasures, including gluttony and no-limits lust, because all of this pleased her master, the demon. For years she lived a double life, respected in the community, but in secret she practiced the extremes of wickedness. She lived well. She destroyed countless lives and was never discovered. Stone coffin. But the day arrived. She had lived wallowing in her crimes until old age. One day, a messenger raven brought ominous news. One of her sons had died in a distant accident, and her own death was approaching. The time had come to fulfill her part of the contract, to honor the pact, to pay the price. Her soul. Now Satan were the owner-ruler of her soul for eternity, and her world was the hell. Terrified, she confessed her sins to her remaining children and begged for protection. In an attempt to escape the devil's clutches, she gave meticulous instructions. She ordered, "Sew my body into a deer skin in a stone sarcophagus. Secure the lid with iron and lead, and bind everything with 3 heavy iron chains. Pray 50 psalms for 3 days and 3 nights. Celebrate Mass every day to lessen the fierce attacks of my enemies, and only then bury me in the church, although so grave are my sins that I fear the earth itself will refuse my corpse." Their remaining children, a monk's son and a nun daughter, had obeyed all the rules, but the devil does not forgive debts and is not deceived by material artifices or belated piety. On the first nights, demons roared outside the church, but the chains held. The doors trembled, but still resisted. During the vigil, choirs of clergy sang hymns around her corpse. However, demons attacked the church doors, which had been locked with an iron bar. The building's structure was shaken, windows trembled. Outside, the great Satan commanded his dark horde mounted on his black horse. Hellhounds prowled the temple, barking fiercely, roaring hungrily. Despite everything, the central part of the door, of more elaborate construction, remained firm. The religious intensified their efforts. At the end of the third night, in the early morning, when the first rooster crowed, the enemy himself, invoking power the forces of hell, broke through all the barriers. Stained glass windows exploded. The doors was opened with enormous violence. Panic gripped the place. Priests and nuns ran, fainted, and threw themselves to the ground in fervent prayers for help. A colossal demon appears, riding on his enormous infernal black horse, which had a net of long, sharp iron spikes on its back. He broke the chains like straw, kicked the coffin lid, and dragging the woman by her hair, pinned her to his rump and galloped away, followed by his hellhound's pack and a legion of demons. She was taken to hell, in body and soul. The gang of damned galloped into the abyss, and their screams had echoes for miles. Thus ends the story of the Berkeley witch, a medieval warning about the dangers of pacts with evil, where neither iron chains nor prayers can save a condemned soul. Repent and do penance. Weep, children of Adam. Humanity has failed. Again. The time is near. For now, that's all, folks. Till the next video. If you like this story, let your positive evaluation, subscribe this channel, and comment below. Do you believe in devil's pacts?